is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host, Ghost here, and you're watching a brand new episode of Dorks Movie Minute. Today we're going to be discussing and reviewing Book of Boba Fett Chapter 7, the grand finale of the whole series. But I do got to say it is pretty consistent with chapters 5 and 6. I still think it is a very solid finale to this mediocre but great in the end kind of series. It had to wait till the very last 3 episodes to blow their whole load on the series. But yeah, so here we go. We get a shootout between Boba and Fennec. Boba and Fennec scout out the bar that just had the explosion last episode that I forgot to mention. They had this surprise attack. The Syndicate came in and exploded the whole bar. And so Boba and Fennec go out to investigate, see if their allies are okay and all that. Mando shows up and Mando decides to go to Freetown or whatever. To meet the sheriff that he was talking about that could be a great ally. Cad Bane meets up with the Pike leader after killing the sheriff and the other people of Freetown. But it's not just that Mando wants the sheriff to help him. He wants the whole town of Freetown to help him because he sees that if you guys don't help in the revolution, then you don't want this revolution to succeed. That's the way Boba Fett is, presenting this to the people. That if you want things to change, then you're gonna have to pick up your arms and you're gonna have to make it change yourself. And so I really like that underlying tone to what Boba is trying to do, and he's kind of sending Mando to get the job done to do it. But yeah. Basically, Cad Bane meets the Pike leader because he wants to kill Boba. He's done with Boba. He says the only way to deal with Boba is to kill Boba. And the Pikes basically agree with him or whatever, so they say, you know what, you're right, so do what you gotta do. We get Grogu, we get the ship coming back, landing into the droid lady's house, and the ship opens up, and it's just, we're expecting Luke and Grogu to be inside, but no, Luke basically sent Grogu by himself. He used R2-D2, which is awesome to see R2-D2 make a cameo. He showed up in the last episode on the beaches, or on the island that Luke was hiding on. I forgot the name of that island. Where they build the Jedi Temple. But we did get to see R2-D2 again. Very cool to see him. It has the beeps and boops. It's R2-D2 100%. He drops Grogu off the droid lady. She takes care of him because Mando is away at Freetown dealing with whatever Cad Bane has done. So yeah. Boba's team, he basically gets the whole team of the Black Khazar. He's got the mayor's assistant on his team. He's got him and Mando. He's got Fennec, he's got all sorts of people on his team, the 2 pig guards, the cybernetic people from earlier episodes, and that's where I think the series does really well, is building up these side characters, much like The Mandalorian Season 1 did, and having this big grand battle with the finale of it, very reminiscent of Mandalorian Season 1. If you remember, he was building that team, and then at the very end the team kind of came together to save him in the end. That's very much the same storyline we're getting here, but in a more assassin-based, gritty Star Wars style, mixed with a little bit of that kid-friendly Disney Star Wars-ness going on here, just a little bit, but they don't go too crazy on this episode like they did episode 3 and 4. So yeah, I'm very happy for that. Basically,
they're going to war.
Yeah, at that point the fighting starts. We get Cad Bane. Basically shows up and tells them that he did kill the sheriff of Freetown and that he is responsible for that. And so they have bad blood between Cad Bane. But at the same time, Boba's team splits off and they all have their own battles to fight. The cybernetic men are fighting the locals because the locals have finally turned on him, unlike Boba thought, and it's a whole twist. And so they're fighting the cybernetic people. Kazantham gets jumped by the lizard people with the swords, so he's over there fighting them. And there's like 4 or 5 of them he's fighting. He's trying to lift them off, beat them away, throw them off. And the pigs end up getting killed by they basically get pushed off a cliff. They get pushed backwards and backwards and backwards, so there's nowhere else to go, and they get pushed off the cliff and they end up dying. They're one of the few allies that do end up dying on Boba Fett's team, and it was kind of sad to see them go out of all the characters, because like I said, the pig guys are like some of my favorite characters in the original Star Wars lore. So it was a little bit sad to see them go in such a way where they just got pushed off a cliff and they're done, because they were pretty cool characters. I wouldn't mind seeing them again sometime in the future, maybe to get cybernetic upgrades and come back somehow, some way, who knows, but it's possible. It's Star Wars. So yeah. basically, because Anthem gets overpowered, Fennec saves the cybernetic people from the attack. She shows up, single-handedly takes down the people the civilians that were attacking them. Pike Syndicate show up, and basically Mando says that he's going to follow Boba till the end because they offer him a bigger offer, money-wise, and he's like, hey, I'm going to follow Mando. This is the way. We're going to protect this town, and we're going to save these people, and that's basically what they end up doing. Then we get this really cool fight with Boba and Mando having a back-to-back, kind of phaser blast fight. Going nuts, taking out all these Syndicate guards. So yeah, very cool scene. And it's basically, this whole episode is a lot of fighting. It's hard to explain, but there's a lot of fighting, and that's kind of what you want in the grand finale like this, where it's all about the war. There's a lot of back and forth. Some side wins, then it turns the tide, another side takes advantage or whatever. But yeah, that goes back and forth through the whole episode. Characters die, some don't die. I won't say all the spoilers, but it's nuts. It's crazy. And basically, we get to the point where they're losing pretty bad, and Boba Fett decides, you know what, I'm going to pull the Rancor out. He comes riding in on this Rancor, does massive damage. It's absolutely crazy for Star Wars. Destroying the town, going nuts, killing all the guards, everything else. Eventually, the Rancor gets beat up a bit, but it comes back even stronger and just wipes out everyone, and they end up, saving the day and being the heroes. But we have also another really cool moment between Mando and Grogu. We see Grogu actually save Mando using his force powers, because Mando is kind of like scared. He's afraid to put Grogu into harm's way, and that's the difference between Mando and Luke, is that Luke kind of knew that Grogu was strong enough to handle himself. Even though he doesn't look like it, he knows he is physically possible, and it's physically possible for him to handle himself in any situation. And so Mando has a hard time with coming to terms with that in the end of this, until the very end when Grogu does save him using his force powers, and then Mando's kind of like, okay, I don't have to protect you anymore, and you can kind of go on this journey with me. Another thing I forgot to mention out from last episode was the droid lady is building this ship. She's using actually Queen Amidala's ship from Star Wars, the episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I believe it was the Royal Guard ship that's very fast. So that's basically going to be Mando's new ship going forward in The Mandalorian Season 3 and beyond. And it's very cool because they took out the droid part and they made a little spot for Grogu to sit in, so Grogu's head can kind of sit above Mando's as they're flying, much in the same vein that a droid would sit. So that's basically where we end off. The Syndicate get defeated. Boba holds the town. Basically, the crew is still around besides the pig guys. And Mando, and then Boba Fett has basically made his point that he is the ruler of this town. He rides the Rancor, and if anyone wants to stop him, they've got to get through that Rancor first, and his group of misfits that he's assembled here in this series. So yeah, basically Mando and Grogu, board up in the ship. They tell Boba Fett goodbye. They tell each other thank you for each other's help. It was mutual, so thank you very much. And that's where it ends. We get Grogu and Mando flying off into space. Presumably for The Mandalorian Season 3 whenever that comes, but I cannot wait to see where they take these two characters in the future. Out of all the things in this series, I've got to say Mando and Grogu are the best thing about the series, which is a shame because they have their own series called The Mandalorian. But once again, they definitely nailed it. They nailed the Star Wars action, they nailed the Star Wars camaraderie between Boba and Mando. And I think they're on the right track for Mandalorian Season 3 and the kind of storylines they're going to tell there. So I give this episode a 10 out of 10 as well. So another solid 10 out of 10 following after 5, 6, and 7. That's 3 solid 10 out of 10s for the Book of Boba Fett. Once again, it is a series I recommend, but only in the latter half. If you don't pay attention for the first 4 episodes, that's fine, because 5, 6, and 7 is where the action and the story really pick in. And it's not just a slow start, it's we're on the train's already 10 miles away 30 seconds later. So you're either on the train or you're not. So that's just the way I see this series. I enjoyed it a whole lot. Let me know down below what you guys thought of the Book of Boba Fett, and did you guys enjoy the slow pace in the beginning and the fast pace in the end, or do you wish it was better paced as a series as a whole? Let me know down below as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, or share, and as always, guys, keep it right here on Dorks Den. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.